Hey, everybody, Coach Kim here with Empowered Living, where you can live above anything that has tried to render you powerless by faith in God and faith in yourself. Just a quick tip as I stop by. I really had something bugging me, right? So I wanted to speak out about it. Not that it was bad or anything like that, but some things just light a fire in you, right? And this, what I'm getting ready to talk about, lights a fire in me. First of all, I believe that we should be grateful, okay? We should be grateful for everything we have, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because we go through seasons in life. And as we go through seasons in life, some of those bad situations can help us to be thankful because we have something to compare the good to. And not only that, we can learn lessons when we're not given everything right when we want it. And that creates a foundation for us, all right? It creates a strong foundation as we go through those tough times and we go through those contractions, if you will, before we come to the place of birthing. And none of us like it. Let's just be honest. You know, if we could just take a magic wand and say, boop, you are now mature. We would all love that magic wand. But it doesn't work like that. And I think that while we're growing through things, need to learn how to talk, don't I? While we're growing through things, remain grateful for what you have because it could always be worse, and remain humble because you don't know it all, right? And you can learn things from other people as well, and their experiences. And you're definitely going to learn from the Lord, and you're going to learn from His Word. You're going to learn from fellowship in the body of Christ. You're going to learn from life lessons in general. So I think that would be my number one point, is to remain grateful and remain humble while you're going through whatever process you're going through. Because in some capacity, we are all leaders, right? We're all in authority, under authority at some level. And so the thing that was really, spurred me to do this video is for us to be mindful of what level of leadership that you walk in. And I think the number one thing for leaders to be aware of is attitude. If you're going to be a leader, you're going to be a teacher, be aware of your attitude. There needs to be some maturation in your attitude that if you're going to be teaching people or you want people to follow you, there needs to be an excellence in your attitude. Your attitude, as we've heard it said, equates to your altitude. So if you have a bad attitude, you're only going to go so far in altitude, and you're only going to take the people who choose to follow you so far. Like I said, all of us have a place of leadership somewhere in our lives. So I think that it's relevant to anyone who is going to listen to this video. So we have to be aware of our attitude, whether we're a leader as a parent, a leader at work, a leader wherever. Attitude is relevant to everything we're doing. I had a situation where someone was trying to teach me something, and in fact, I wasn't getting it because they just wanted me to memorize the steps. And in that, the way I think, I want to understand the step. I just don't want you to point out the step. I need to understand it, and I need to latch it to an experience so that it will stick. And so with that being said, I understand that sometimes things just need to be done. We need to do what we need to do. But if you're teaching me something that I'm going to be doing over a long period of time, I need to understand that. And so as leaders, we need to make sure that people understand our vision, understand our mission, understand why we do what we do, even sometimes how we do. And not that we have to disclose everything to those following us, but I'm talking about general vision, general mission. Bring an understanding, bring a light to that. Don't just point and say, do this, do this, do this, do that. That's going to create rebellion. And if you're a leader and that's how you lead, I want to encourage you, take a class, pray a little bit more, because if your people, whether they're your staff or whether, maybe they're in church or even your children, Relationship is going to breed a following that wants to execute your vision. But when you just point and say do, that's going to create rebellion because there's no relationship there. And the people who follow you just look at you and say, well, what are you doing? I can do that. And it creates rebellion. And it creates cliques, and it creates whispering. Or it creates the type of follower that stuffs everything down and is really angry on the inside because they don't understand why you do what you do, where you're coming from, and what that has to do with the vision that you want me to follow. And so if I can do a little consulting as a leader, you want to cultivate the type of atmosphere that breeds synergy, not rebellion. Because when you do that, you take away, as a leader, you take away your authority. And people have a hard time respecting your authority. Whether, again, you're a parent, whether you're a manager, whether you're a wife, a husband, whatever. Everybody is in some type of role of leadership. And so you don't want to create rebellion in your sphere of influence because as a leader, you won't stand up. You won't make the vision clear. You won't make the mission clear. You won't help people understand what direction you're going in. You're creating rebellion. And so in order to counteract that, what you have to do is, number one, work on your leadership style. If you find that people that are following you really don't want to speak up, it's not the people. It's you. And you need to take a leadership class, and you need to say some prayers and do some things to cultivate your style of leadership to get your vision across, to get your mission across, to get your point across, simultaneously creating a synergy that executes the vision seamlessly. And we understand that we will have problems in any type of business, in any type of relationship, in any type of ministry. Problems will arise, but you want to create that synergy so you pull the best out of your team. And if you are a leader that creates synergy and that sees what's in his or her team, meaning you have individuals following you, you need to see beyond who they are, see what giftings, what talents they bring to the table, because once you see that, you can use that to the benefit of the vision. And they're not going to mind because it fulfills them to walk in the trueness of their gifting and their calling. And when they're leaning toward the trueness of who they are and their gifting and their calling, they're going to want to be there. They're going to want to push that vision forward. They're going to want to help execute those things with excellence. And even if they make a mistake, they're going to feel comfortable enough with you as a leader to say, hey, you know what? I missed it on that. I missed the mark on that. You know what? I want to do better. And I wanted to share that with you. And also as a leader, you want to create an environment where people can come to you and they can talk to you and they can share their thoughts without you saying, oh, that don't matter. As a leader, never tell someone, and I rarely use the word never, but never tell someone that doesn't matter. Because you're looking at it from your perspective. They're looking at it from their perspective. So don't tell people that follow you that it doesn't matter. And I'm speaking of the type of person who wants to be there, who's shown some level of maturation, who's on time, who does their best to get the job done. I'm not talking about this person who is rebellious, who just doesn't care, and who's on their way out the door. I'm not talking about that person. That person needs a whole nother YouTube lesson or a Periscope lesson or something. So anyway, I'm talking about the person who is going to be there. I'm talking about the person who's trying, who's giving it their best, who's giving it their best shot, and they want to work with you and they want to learn the vision, but maybe they're having a little bit of trouble with the way you're conveying it, okay? As leaders need to take self-inventory as well. So be humble, be grateful for your staff. whatever type of staff it is. All right. Make them know that they're appreciated. People like to know that they're appreciated. Also, make sure that people know they can come to you if they have a problem. Be approachable as a leader, because again, you want to create an environment that creates relationship and synergy, not rebellion. And if people think you don't care about them, you're going to create rebellion. So I would definitely encourage leaders to take a step back and do some self-inventory, which is the third thing. Make sure you're growing as a leader. Make sure you don't cap yourself because you are so stuck in how you do things. If you are so stuck as a leader, this is bad for a leader to get so stuck on this hamster wheel of how you do things that you don't progress, that you don't personally develop, and that you don't professionally develop, that you don't spiritually develop, because you're so used to doing things in a rhythm, in a certain way, that your staff comes along and maybe they have a new idea, or maybe you have somebody new that's being added to your staff. But as a leader, you're so used to doing things in a certain way that you don't even recognize the gift, the talent, the ability that is being presented to you to better your team. So I would say open up and see what you have before you as a leader, as a parent, as a mom, as a dad. Open up and see what you have before you so that you can use that tool to the benefit of the vision and moving the vision forward. And here's the deal. Don't have favorites, because as a leader, when you have favorites, ultimately it's going to backfire on you, because everybody is not going to play that game. Everybody's not going to play that game. And don't think people can't see it, because they can. You don't need a lot of discernment to know if you are keeping somebody in your pocket. Okay, you don't need a lot of discernment to know that, to understand that. And what ultimately will happen is the person who you want to be your favorite, or who is your favorite, will play themselves against your team. And so you lose out anyway. And so what you want to do is you want to have open, honest dialogue where everybody feels they have a voice on the team. Everybody feels they matter. Whether you can use it or not, maybe you're putting it on the shelf, but people need a voice on a team. Okay. And so you want to give people a voice on a team, an honest voice, honest communication. I'm not talking about they just rattling and putting off their angry attitude on everybody else. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you have a team. You want to create an environment in your meeting or what have you, where you're creating an environment where people have a voice, so they don't have to go whisper behind your back. Hello. So, and you don't want to have favorites, because ultimately what that's going to do is it's going to play down the respect that people have for you, and they're not going to be comfortable enough to come to you to share their thoughts, their concerns, their ideas, because you want to create an environment where ideas are constantly going, so that your systems, your processes, and whatever you're doing is going to continuously improve. All right, because if something's not growing, it's dead. Right? You don't want your team dead. You don't want your team so stuck in their ways that they can't teach anybody else something, or that they can't grow themselves. And so you have to step up your game as a leader. And my next point is, don't shy away from correction. Don't shy away from correction. Now, there is a way to correct a situation. There's a way to correct a situation. You can do that with tact. As a leader, you can do it with tact. And again, please don't tell people that their ideals or how they feel about a certain thing just doesn't matter. Don't say that. All right. You want to basically, you want to treat people as you will want to be treated. And so even if they are your subordinate, or even if they're, under you, if you will, you want to make them feel like what they have to say matters. Now, you may be able to walk away from that situation and say, I heard them out. They feel like they have a place to, open up, talk, share their ideals, and this and this and that. Now, you may not be able to use what they're saying, but at least you have somebody on their team who can be open and honest with you. Maybe you won't be able to use their idea right now at this point, but at least they feel heard out. So they don't have a problem with coming to you again in a respectful way, saying, hey, I have this idea. And you have a resource. You have somebody that's thinking. You have somebody that's growing. Even if you can't use the idea right now, keep that person around. Because if they're thinking about how they can make improvements for the vision, that's a good person, and they have a good attitude, right? So you want to look at that. And teach your team. Like I talked about before, attitude is everything. Teach your team, and you display this too as a leader. But teach your team how to respond with each other versus react, because a lot of times people can get set in their ways, especially if they've been doing something for a long time. Teach your team how to respond by you exemplifying it, because what you want to see on your team, you need to exemplify first as a leader. So teach your team how to respond versus react. All right. If I see something I don't like and I just start going off about it, and being rude or obnoxious or what have you, I'm just reacting to what I don't want. I'm not necessarily taking the time to choose how I'm going to respond. Don't allow people on the team to disrespect other people, because when you do that, you are planting a seed. Okay, you're planting a seed. I'm trying to fix my hair. You're planting a seed, and what you're showing the people who are committed to your team, committed to your vision, you're showing them that, you know what, I don't have courage enough to correct this, so I'm just going to allow it because this person's been around for a long time. Major mistake. You could lose new talent, and people will get fed up with that, and ultimately they will leave your team, and they have every right to. Okay. I think one of the worst things that a leader can do is see an elephant in the room and not deal with it, or know that there's an elephant in the room and don't deal with it. Okay, because again, you're going to create this environment of stagnancy. Going to create this environment of bitterness because people don't feel safe. When people work in a team, they want to know that it's a safe place for them to bring their ideals, for them to flow in their gifts, talents, and abilities, and for them to bring up their concerns without being browbeat behind it. Okay, so I definitely wanted to share that today. From Empowered Living, because you can live above these things, right? You can definitely live above these things by having faith in God and by having faith in yourself. I'm creating a tool right now. It's called the Empowered Living Success Journal. And basically that's what it's all about, is creating systems. And I only went over 3 in the Success Journal, but you can do it across the board for your entire life, your business, what have you, is taking the time to create systems that will help you flow better in life, and your result is going to be executing the goal that is going to bring you the result that you truly want to see in life. All right. Because a lot of times we get stuck, not only as leaders, but just in general as people, because we keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. And we're really miserable because we want to see a different result. We want to improve. All right. We want to make those extra dollars. We want to have a better relationship. But a lot of times we won't stop and take the time to create a system that will bring about the result we really want to see. And it can be done. We simply have to be proactive about it. So I'm creating this journal right now. I actually did it for myself. And so I want to share it. Creating the journal right now. It'll be on my website, breakthroughwithcoachkim.com. I'm not sure if I'm just going to do it myself or have it self-published just yet, but I'll keep you abreast on that. There are other tools on my website on the tools tab, breakthroughwithcoachkim.com, some coaching stuff if you'd like to go there. My book is available. On the Brink of a Breakthrough at Amazon.com and Bridge to Breakthrough. Bridge to Breakthrough is an amazing, amazing tool. It takes you through several pointed questions to help you come more into your value, your vision, and your voice. It's an amazing, amazing tool. It's actually my signature system for my program, Bridge to Breakthrough, and you can also get that on Amazon.com as well. I also teach that in small groups. So if you have a small group coming up and you don't know exactly what to do, if you have a retreat coming up, my signature system is amazing. It's going to help those that are involved embrace their value, their God-given value, embrace their personal value, their gifts, their talents. It's going to help them come into their authentic voice and be clear about the vision that they want for their life. So that's what that's all about. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that little piece on leadership because it was just burning on the inside. So be a good leader. Leaders are human too. Leaders make mistakes as well. But the thing about it is if you're out there on the limb as a leader, you got to do what it takes. All right. You got to do what it takes. All right. You can't be out here as a leader saying, I'm a leader, I'm a leader, and you're not willing to do what it takes. The Bible says this, that much is given, much is required. And so if much has been given to you to handle, much has been given to you, then there's going to be much required out of you. You've got to live at another level. You know, you really do, as far as attitude, as far as training, as far as making sure that the vision and the mission is understood and how that's going to be executed, and using what you have, the gifts, the talents, and the abilities in people to see not only that the vision is fulfilled, but that the people are fulfilled. So this is Coach Kim. I'll talk to you real soon. God bless. Bye-bye.